Welcome to the only daily podcast focusing on compliance news of the day. Each morning, start your day with a cup of coffee and Tom Fox, the voice of compliance, to hear about 4 of the top compliance, corruption, or leadership stories you will need to start your day. The Daily Compliance News is a production of the Compliance Podcast Network.
First, a word from this month's sponsor, Ethico.
In the delicate arena of compliance, every conversation matters. Traditional methods can leave callers feeling unheard, but Ethico changes the game. Our empathetic interview technique reshapes compliance calls into powerful, compassionate interactions, ensuring no crucial detail is missed. It's about creating a conversation that matters, that resonates, that makes a difference. Be the change in your compliance approach. See the transformation for yourself at ethico.com/CPN. Book a demo, try our free ROI calculator, and explore the white paper by Tom Fox, The ROI of Compliance.
The Daily Compliance News for June 17, 2024, the charges dropped edition. And we begin with that story from the Wall Street Journal, the first of 2 stories from the Wall Street Journal. This one is from Risk and Compliance Journal. Mingi Sun reports that Nigeria has dropped charges against Tigran Gambaryan, a detained Binance compliance executive who had been in the country on to do compliance-related matters. He was arrested and has been held since February. Binance agreed to have a representative for service of process and to answer tax charges from the Nigerian Economic and Financial Crimes Commission. Next up, the first of 2 stories from about Boeing, and that this one is our second story from the Wall Street Journal. This one by Andrew Tangle and Dave Michaels, which explores whether the DOJ will prosecute Boeing for violating its deferred prosecution agreement or not. And it lays out the potential crimes that Boeing could be brought under and how the DOJ constructed the deferred prosecution agreement and how Boeing was able to get out of the 2 737 MAX air crashes with no criminal penalties assessed against it. As a part of the DPA, Boeing was required to and agreed to have a program to detect and prevent fraud, which the DOJ says it failed to meet. So it's unclear what the DOJ will do, but they have till July 7th to make a decision. Next up, our second story about Boeing, which comes to us from the BBC, which says that the FAA is pushing Boeing for systemic change needed to rebuild confidence in the safety of its planes. And our final story comes to us from Bloomberg, which reports on the differences in Hong Kong and Singapore. Obviously, the biggest difference is Singapore is a free and independent country. Hong Kong is now essentially a colony of communist China. But more importantly for the business world, what does this mean for the banking world that was previously headquartered in Hong Kong and now has gravitated to Singapore because of the rule of law? It's going to be interesting to see it go forward. The Daily Compliance News is a production of the Compliance Podcast Network and a proud member of C-Suite Radio. Thanks so much for listening. I hope you'll join me again tomorrow.